Alright, hello YouTube, and welcome back to some more Kerbal Space Program. Now, those of you who were here last time might have seen this particular lander have a slight malfunction mid-landing and catastrophically explode. Not really because the landing didn't go well, but because we landed on a hill and it fell over. And in my attempt to take off, got a bit scrambled with the controls and we, well, exploded. So we're going to try that again, and we're going to do a little bit of manual intervention this time. As in, I'm going to slow down manually when it looks like we have a decent spot, and then we're going to try and land. I have heard Tylo is not an easy planet to land on, and I definitely believe it, from what we've seen so far. Now, our current trajectory, I believe, is a descent trajectory. We are going to land somewhere, regardless of what we do. So I'm going to look for a bit that looks relatively flat. I think that was the bit we were intending to land in originally. It may be that there is nowhere flat and we're just going to have to pick a landing spot and gun it. I'm starting to think that may be the case. That looks better though. This area looks better on the whole. Maximum pat. Land somewhere. Hopefully that will bring us down before we head back into the rough bit. Hopefully I haven't left it too long. If I have, I'll have to quick load again. Yeah, part of me was considering for a moment as we crashed, just continuing anyway. I'd be like, okay, lessons learned, we had a bit of a disaster. But then I realised we can't really do that. Because if we do... Oh shoot, I keep knocking it off my desk. If we do that, we'd have to face the problem of we only have one lander, and I'm not even sure we can get the lander back to the craft and still manage a landing on another planet. It might be doable on, like, Bop. Maybe, whatever the... Is Bop the lowest gravity one? Pole. It might be possible on Pole, because you only need about 130 delta V for that. Maybe 300 by the time you have to land, but it would be really tight, and I'm like, no, okay, let's try this again. Let's get this right. I think we have some of our... I think we literally have our best and brightest aboard this craft, so... They should be able to make this work. I think we're going to land on a fairly flat spot. I think I did indeed judge that right, even though I was completely wrong in where we'd actually touch down. As long as where we touch down is reasonably flat and we don't fall over. And we don't use up too much fuel, that's the main thing. Yeah, mech jeb's no longer burning at full, which means it doesn't think we're going to run out of time if it doesn't go flat out. I think fuel use is going to be about the same ultimately. I just really hope there's a war after all this, because we did also screw up a bit on that. We intended to scan the surface and we came in at completely the wrong altitude, and it would have taken 3k delta V to adjust our inclination, and would still have been at the wrong height, and I couldn't really face that, especially after the extremely long maneuvering burn I'd had to do just to get there, or maneuvering burns just to get to that orbit. So I want to leave Tylo as soon as I can, so we're just going to do our landing, take our science reports, set up our base station, and go. And move on to the next ones, which should be much easier. Right, this looks a lot better. This looks flat. Oh, thank God. Okay, that was a little worrying, to say the least. Sliding a bit, which I really don't like. Can we anchor ourselves with the drills? Obviously, this will work in real life. I don't know if it'll work here. Increase friction. It is not working. Stress none, apparently. Oh, spring damper auto. Let's manually tweak the strength of those springs and a little more leg. Okay, now we'll leave it on all that. Right. We are sliding a bit, which I don't like, especially since we want to be setting up a surface base. Is there anything we can do to correct that? Can we talk around? Nope. Where are we sliding to? Just down to that more shallow bit, I guess. We deploy a ladder? That's not going to cause any problems. That doesn't look like it. Right, anyway, I guess we can run size experiments. So, we'll do deploy all except TVA. We'll keep them. There's no detectable atmospheric pressure here. Fascinating. Observe the goo. One of the surfaces shatters into a fine mist when exposed to the surface of Tylo. Is that because it broke, or because it's cold, or... Okay, I thought we'd stopped. It was just loading for a moment. Oh, I don't like this slide. I really do not like this slide. We turn SCF off. Does that have any effect? No. Okay. What we do need to try doing is running the... First of all, we need to deploy the radiators, and I'm going to actually group those to 3. Custom 3. Deploy the radiator. How's our power looking? Okay, they're not draining so much, it's a problem. I do worry slightly that our power is not going to be anything like as high as we thought. Try start the surface harvester. Are we using up a significant amount? No, we're still getting power. Okay. Which are we getting? Oh, really bad. Wait, no, hang on. 0.1 a second? No, that ain't bad. Yeah, okay. Well, now we are using power. Oh my god. Oh, are you kidding me? We're losing that much electrical power? We're supposed to be spec'd for losing half power, and we're still losing loads. What we're going to have to do is drill, shut down, restart. Oh, this is not what we're supposed to be doing, but we're going to have to because we need to refill the tank. Alright. This is going to take a while, I think, so I'll probably off-screen this. In fact, what we'll do... like, we can clearly see, okay, that, like, this would work. It would just take forever, right? So I think this is one of these moments where we activate the infinite electricity cheat and we go, this would still work. We know we could do it by turning on and off the power and turning the drills on and off. It would just take time. That's all it would do. So we're just going to allow running them both and just filling up the ore and refining. Because we know it would be able to do it. And it is getting power. If it's getting no power, we'd broken it, whatever, I would be like, yeah, fair enough. That's on us. But it is clearly working. It's just slow. So, okay, so we have ore. Now we do start refinery, liquid fuel oxidizer, and also monopropellant. We just let it run. He's using ore slightly faster than we're mining it. Right, okay. We turn off the infinite electricity. Retract the drill. Same for you as well. Oh, look at that. It's the refinery running. It's actually blown. Now we stop the refinery. We jettison the ore tanks. There we go. We're back up to 3k delta V. Now that we've done that, we can do the other bit we actually came here for, which is the actual science. So, not the science experiments though, because we've run those. We have stopped sliding as well, thank God. Valve, first of all. First out of the rocket. We need to set up a flag, because of course we have made it to a complete new planet. I didn't even check the world's first, but the world's first are going to be building up as well. The rocket is still sliding very slightly. I really don't like that, but it looks like we're going to slide onto a bit of a flat plateau and it'll stop moving. So. She has no jetpack as well. I have to be careful of that. Oh, what's she got? Oh, she's got the goo monitor. We'll deploy that, but it won't be activated, and we'll get the scientists to redo it. Tylo landing site. First landing site of the Grand Tour. As expected, it was a total pain in the backside. Also, we forgot the tourist. Whoops. Still, we made it. Long way from home here. Go. Right. Shut that down quickly. It won't even activate, I believe, because there's nothing. It will activate apparently, even without power. But yeah, not connected. And it shouldn't be active. So, do the disable part. And we'll have one of our scientists actually activate it. We'll have Val reboard the craft just to double check the ladder. We did test it on Kerbin and it was working back then, but, you know, gotta be a little bit careful. Where did we put the components on this craft? Oh, they're all in the cabin, aren't they? Yeah, okay. They're all in the thing. I really hope Val can get back in, because otherwise someone else is gonna have to pass her a jetpack. Right. Bill, you can get out and deploy the power systems. Valentina, you can... Oh, right. Is it Bill? Oh, no, it's Dooford holding that. Anyway, yeah, this is the one I need, sorry. Bill, hold the parachute. Is that the control station? Control station. There's going to be a little bit of going back up and down ladders to set up this particular base. We'll also have our scientists do a surface sample and EVA report. Glad to realise we still need to do that. So at least the planet's got nice... the high gravity is a pain. That's weird. But at least it does mean that he can run normally. The physics feel about normal because the gravity is about the same. Or at least it's not far off. So it's not like running on Minmus where you take off every few steps and you have to wait for him to drift back down again. This is a bit of a pain though. I'm to run up those for each part. But I believe the only bits we actually need him to deploy are the 2 solar panels. She cannot carry both of them at once, so I feel he wouldn't be able to. So we can let go from that height. Oh, maybe we shouldn't though. Just because we could. Okay, is that the slope? Is it too... Maybe it's too steep a slope to deploy on there. Available 4. Okay, good. So he is providing the amount of power it said he would, which is 4. So we should only need 2 solar panels to power the whole base. So he's good at this stuff, although the sun is going down, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose it'll still be down even though the planet's not the same. The solar panel, and then the scientist is going to have to run up and down and do the rest. Doofrod, I believe. Including reconfiguring that mystery goo. There's an interesting looking rock over there. I don't know if it does anything, but we might take a quick look. As well, once scientist is down. Oh yeah, no EVA propellant, yeah, because I haven't got the jetpack. It's weird to not have that in some ways. Do take the jetpack back. We may need that. There are still more planets to land on. Right, Doofrod. Go for descent. It's nice to actually reach one of the planets after all this time. The Grand Tour is, like I say, the biggest mission I've ran, and it has had its share of frustrations, I think I can safely say. I did not expect quite so many things to go wrong as ultimately have. Although we haven't gotten away with it, basically, but it's not even over yet, and I'm already a little worried about a lot of things, like our fuel, for one thing. It should be okay, but like I say, we are going to try ditching the this lander. We'll use it to take the crew back, and then we'll just knock it out the way and try flying like that. But we will quick save before we actually try taking off. Pick up. I'm going to redeploy it. Just redeploying it with an actual scientist gets better results, I believe. Interested to see what the stats are, though. We know we were at about 45% when we deployed modules before with a decently experienced scientist. We are at 80%. Excellent. 2.7 science an hour. Very quick for Kerbal standards. Given missions take years. Say hello, ladder? We may have a problem if we have no ladder. No, we are okay. Grab the next part. I think there's two more to go down. 35. These definitely can't be two at once. I think just drop that last bit. Saves a bit of the climb. Not sure real astronauts would ever do that, but... Oh, maybe it's not the train. Maybe it's our ship. It's causing some weirdness there. Connected, powered. Good. And likewise 80%. So I guess you get 100% from a max level scientist. I guess that's how you get the full outcome. I notice it's not linear. It's not like 20%, 40% or whatever. It does seem to be a little bit more like a low level one. Won't do very good at all, and then it will really spike once you get to higher levels. Anyway, last bit, the communicating dish. So it can actually, the base can actually talk to ground control, and then we'll maybe go jetpack over to one of those rocks and just check it's the one we can interact with. Don't know whether this will even have a connection back to base, but power deployed. Units required 1. Power available. Power need 5. Yeah, seems to be working. Let's grab his jetpack so I can go take a look over there. Here he should be able to jetpack over and get over there nice and quickly. Fast travel. And grab his parachute. Not that it'll actually work in this environment. There might be a little bit of this in the upcoming episodes of setting up surface bases, because of course we do have 4 more planets to do this on. And we'll have the actual tourists come down and at least visit one of the planets in the future as well. Whoa, okay. Jetpack, not an option. It does not work. Surface sample. You hum a little tune while you work to make time pass faster. Tylo has some really interesting rocks. If you say so, it sure doesn't. It's not interesting to look at. The gravity here is pretty comfortable and reminds you of home. However, the lack of atmosphere is a stark contrast to Kerbin. Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that being the case. I'm going to take a look at that rock, but I don't think there'll necessarily be much there. Wait, what? What are you talking about? I'm sure you can. Oh, that's interesting. I thought Kerbal... I was pretty sure you could time warp while you were running. You certainly can on Kerbin. Maybe because the gravity's different. Maybe they haven't programmed it for that. I've never seen that before. It's probably also going to be the point where this rock doesn't do anything. EVA science is about... Did we even bring those with us? I have a horrible feeling we brought those with us and we haven't loaded them onto the Kerbal. Oh well. Too late at this point. We're not coming back. I mean, we totally could. Our ships... No, we can't. We can't because we can't afford to land the lander again. So it won't have the fuel to... It'll have the fuel to get back to the craft. It won't have enough for another pad landing. This is one way, and again, we're thinking we'll probably try and ditch the ship if we can, because it's very heavy. The lander, while some of it will be fuel weight, of course, the thing about it, it does have like empty ore tanks that aren't doing anything apart from hold ore, and it has like, I guess there isn't anything special about this rock. It's nice to find it's there. Like, it's got tanks meant to carry ore. It's got mining drills. It's got a refinery on it. Like, there's loads of parts of this that just don't need to be here. And could potentially be dropped. There's a weird thought. We have got an engineer. Could they just detach the parts and just put them on the ground? I never really thought of that before, but we might be able to. Just take the ore tanks off and just extend its range. Either way, we won't do that. We'll just return. We'll collect the science. We'll return. Transfer the science over to the main ship. And then we'll try flying without the lander. If that works, we'll just leave it. If it doesn't work, it's not balanced, we'll try leaving the empty tank lander on the side of it and see how that goes. I have to have a little look at how much it weighs now versus how much it weighs empty, actually. That probably wouldn't be a bad idea at all. I'm going to have to go redock with the ship, which I believe is orbiting at about 15 kilometers, which is very fast. Not quite sure how rendezvousing is going to work at this altitude, but hopefully it will. By the way, we've got to bring the ship crew back, and unfortunately, that will mean a return of the lag and the slow boning, because my god, it is not a quick ship to maneuver. It is functional. It has incredible range. Oh my god, I wish I just had some like nuclear what are they called? Nuclear saltwater rockets on it rather than this fusion drive, because the fusion drive might be more efficient, but I miss having the sort of power that those things give you. You could still often get similar efficiency just because of how much higher their thrust is. Or at least similar delta V, I should say, anyway, not efficiency. Right. Oh. Oh, I guess this is over here now. Let's see. Right. Ascent guidance. What orbit is that at? 15. Right, 14. Enable. We'll allow auto warp. We'll quick save. And we will launch to rendezvous. And engage autopilot. Right, here we go. Power is full. Everything else is ready to go. You can unfold the radiators, or refold the radiators even, so we're not using extra power, because power has been a real recurring issue. I definitely think the first thing we should research... well, the first thing we should research is RTGs, but we should also very heavily consider bringing along an atomic reactor with the next craft. Even if it's shut down most of the time and it's just relying on solar panels mid-trip. It would be extremely helpful to have that kind of just not really dependent on anything power generation. Oh, we also do want to collect all. We want to make sure all the science is on the pod. That way, once we get there, we can have it. We'll have a scientist specifically. Our scientist specifically get out, grab the data from the pod, and manually fly and reboard one of the other modules. Make sure we definitely have the science on board. In fact, they will dock with the return pod specifically to make sure that all the science is collected. In fact, I think we can just go to the control from the command pod or the return pod and just do collect all science. I think that does work, but yeah, we'll try that. We'll try if we do control from here and then collect all, and it actually collects all the science, then we know that's good, and that's how we can make sure we have all our science on board. Is this ascent working? Sure hope it does. We have to have the main ship come and dock with this one. That's going to be a nightmare. Not impossible, but oh, it's going to suck. Mechab likes to do fine maneuvers with that sort of thing, and they're not going to work with the engine. Is this a case of it can't ascend so low? Is it because our orbit is so low it's throwing it off? Our Apple Apps is actually dropping here. It might be that it suddenly corrects itself near the end. Yeah, it might actually be that appearance. No, it's actually not working. What the heck? We should have plenty of... Oh, okay. Okay. I was very worried there. I was thinking like, wait, what? Hang on, we should have spare fuel for this. No. And then it's like, oh, 27 to circularize. Is that to circularize? Yes, I think so. Oh man, this one's making me worried. Even though MechJeb is working properly now, it's got a fairly conventional engine on it, it's still making me worried. The Vector is technically a space shuttle engine, I believe, was what it's meant to be anyway. Auto warp is enabled. Yeah, it should actually warp us to where it needs to be. thrust limit down to 25% and gimbal limit down to 20%. Okay, well, it's not an ideal launch to rendezvous because it did not get us anywhere near it, but we are in orbit. Rendezvous, autopilot, quick save. It's a little concerning. This is not working extremely well, I have to admit. But I think it's going to be okay. This is the worst one. This is a lower orbit than I would normally even rendezvous at, and I'm not even going to do that for the others, even though we'll drop into their low orbit just long enough to get the tourist contract and then come back. I believe Tylo. Yeah, Tylo's done. We got him to that point. And then we'll pull out again and launch from higher, or maybe it'll be okay. I suppose maybe if this actually works, we might be okay at that. But we need to scan the others for ore at least, or a lathe at least. We'll try and launch to our actual polar orbit and scan it properly, like we actually intended to in the first place. A bit late on the maneuver, but that should still be fine. It's only doing very small. Very small maneuvers at the moment. Yeah, it's going to increase our orbit. Pretty better that it increases rather than decreasing. Fuel is tight, but I think we'll be okay. Again, this lander's not going anywhere after this. In fact, if anything, we're probably just going to have to ditch it. If we can. If we don't need it as a counterbalance. How much do we weigh now? 33 tons. So about 2/3 of its weight is fuel. By default. So even if it is still connected, it's still going to be a good 60 odd tons of weight on the wrong side of the craft. If we can't, we'll have to balance the fuel out. We'll have to manually pump the fuel across into this ship until it's roughly balanced. Which will not be fun. There is a fuel balancing mod which you could maybe also potentially install and use just for that specific part of the mission. It'll automatically pump fuel around to balance it out on either side of the craft. I don't know whether our atmosphere analyzer worked or whether that's the one that needed to be... needs the atmosphere to run. I had a feeling it was a little weird about that before. Or it might have been maybe Minmus and the Moon have a very, very thin atmosphere. I'm not sure. Rather than being a true vacuum. Well, I mean, not that anything's a true vacuum because physics is a bit weird like that, but it's extremely difficult to have a space with nothing in it, strangely enough. Yeah, even it's just like, I don't really want to be maneuvering this close to the planet, and I'm just like, yeah, totally get it. Oh, we're already at high orbit? Wow, it did not take it much to kick it into high orbit. If that was just a circularization burn. It's already on the droppers down burn. Yes, like I said, our last landing point is definitely going to have to be lathe because, well, partly because we're going to smash the solar panels, but partly because of some other reasons. Oh, the only thing is, we've got 5k electric charge on this thing, and we've been having battery woes. So it really would be good to have the extra power. Although, yeah, mind you, we're still down 50 tons. So it's still going to have a quite profound effect on the amount of fuel we actually have left. Yeah, we might be okay to just leave it attached, but just empty. That might be best for now. I suppose it keeps us nice and balanced. Yeah, we'll hang on to this for now because of that, specifically because we've had so many power issues. Just like, oh, right, yeah, it really would be good to have. Are we near it? Oh, we are near it. There's a head. Oh, that's what the big lag spike was. I think that's actually why we've overshot. Because we were there, the ship, that was the ship loading in. Yeah, I was going to say it's going to burn a little bit of fuel and bring us closer. us to within 100 meters. So the lights actually drain power. I have no idea if that's actually the lights or the torque we're using to turn. They're getting science reports quite constantly, but I'm not sure what for. I guess it's maybe because we've got so bad up in use of things. Oh, we didn't even run the trace gas analyzer. I meant to run that on the planet's surface and get an eye if there's any trace gases kicking about on Tylo. And disengage. Hang on. It's fine. We can do this bit manually. So, target plus. Point us towards target. Get rid of that. Oh, we are actually moving towards it very slowly. We're gonna move towards it a bit quicker, and then when we get to within about 100 meters, we'll slow down the other way. We move in at about 10 meters a second or something. Something slow. Should be okay. Alright, accelerating to target. Be a little bit careful because we're very low on Delta V now. Okay, that's fast enough as it turns out. Yeah, use the monopropellant, do a quick turn. We refilled our monopropellant tanks, so we're not going to have a shortage. Oh yeah, force roll. That's probably good actually. That means I can adjust manually and know which way up the controls are, I guess. It's been interesting how many things I've had to really make this sort of playthrough in general work. It's interesting how many things I've been manually taking over. I wasn't even aware I was doing this much manually, and I think this is about normal. Like, maybe perhaps I've learned more from this game than I thought. Don't know why I can't select the radiators, it just have a highlight. That's interesting. Whoa. Okay, I guess no fizz warp, because that's warping space. This is taking us about to where we need to be. Right. Let's wait until we're in about... what kind of distance? Right. If we can't select the docking port. Control from here. Docking autopilot. Coming in quite fast, but we've got monopropellant, we did refuel it. Kill rotation. Do not try and do any maneuvers while we're trying to dock with it, because that will make it harder and it will make it burn more fuel. And at the very least, we have to get the Kerbals redocked and the data across. And again, ideally, we want to bring the whole ship. Where are the bounding boxes on that ship? They should be... yeah, I was saying, it must be huge. Oh, I forgot how much it makes it lag. Not override safe distance. It's a big craft. Is it still slowing down? Did we really... oh, maybe we should have manually intervened a little more. Oh, okay, I think it's okay. Yeah, I suppose we're going in the right direction now. I wonder if the centrifuge is draining a lot of power. I wonder if that's part of what our problem has been. But I mean, like really want to shut that off, considering that's supposed to be like, you know, the gravity for our crew. Yeah, it's probably there. Probably have I'd imagine a daily exercise regime. Most astronauts do have to do that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm interested to see. We're on about 17k Delta V. I'd be very interested to see now how much we have just from shedding 50 tons. which we have pretty much now. It's almost an 80-ton lander, and we're down to about 30 tons. So we'll be very interested to see how much weight we have now. We could potentially even activate both engines, burn against each other, and just use up the last of it, but... Yeah, we definitely learned, and one of the other main things is solar panels, not great out here. We've got quite substantial ones, which would be perfect in the inner system, and overkill probably around Moho, but they are not enough here. Absolutely not, and we're going to Eeloo, which is even further out. Or it can be. Eeloo and Jules orbits. They're meant to replicate, I believe, Pluto and... Oh, what's the furthest one out? It's not Pluto. Neptune? I think Neptune's orbit. Uranus's orbit. Whichever it is, anyway, where they actually do get further away from each other after a while. Are you going to start docking or what? Okay. I was going to say, are you ever going to stop? Appreciate that you're moving up above it, but... I really don't like being this close to the planet's surface either. I really don't like that. I will very much look forward to being out of the dual system. Well, not the dual system, but out of Tylo's like close sphere of influence, I guess you'd call it. We're just going to accelerate and just kick ourselves out of Tylo's influence. We're not going to do any fancy planning for our maneuver straight to another planet. Assuming we have the fuel to manage it, of course. It looks like most of the intercepts are not too bad, but they're hugely varying. Sort of Val, for example, is like 900 and something. Lathe is about 930, but Bop is anywhere between 220 and 2,400. Pole is anywhere between 960 to 700, roughly. I might be reading this graph on the Delta V chart wrong, but I think we'll probably end the episode with redocking and collecting science. I think we've done pretty good for today. I do apologise slightly for the last episode, not because we didn't do anything in it, but just because it was a little on the boring side until the very end. Like, it took a long time to get to just get into proper orbit and everything around Tylo. Like, maybe it's not so bad at your end. I suppose I've skipped. I guess cut out a lot of it, because you guys wouldn't have had to put up with a lot of it. But for me, it took a long time. Like, I was just running other stuff on YouTube and that in the background, so I had something to do while I waited for it. Kerbal is a good game, but it's simulating rocket science, and there is a lot of weighting in rocket science. What is that? Oh, solar panel. I thought for some reason we had a magnetometer there. Oh, we don't have a magnetometer on the craft. God dang it. I'm pretty sure Joule's one of the places where magnetometers work best, and we haven't got one at all. How do I forget? This is not even the first time I've forgotten a magnetometer. How are we doing for science? Okay, we're up to 2,000. Let's also have a look at the world first. Oh, hang on. Flyby of Joule, orbit of Joule, spacewalk Joule, science data from Joule. Still reading that. Yeah, flyby of Tylo, Joule, crew transfer, spacewalk. Oh my god, there's loads. Okay, close that for now. How are we doing for money? Oh, we're up to 1 million. We've been being paid as we've been going through this. The world firsts are actually really adding up, because we were only at about 400,000, so we've made over 500,000, and we're one planet down. We are one planet into our mission. Oh, would you look at that? Hang on, well, I guess we'll have to shut this engine down, but 20k. Our there's some weirdness going on, but oh, it's because of the lock that gimbal. We don't need that running. Well, the Delta V readouts are a little scrambled at the moment, but electric charge is increasing. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, it looks like we're back up to about 20,000, which is good. So we've gained 3k from just doing that landing and just ditching all that extra weight. Excellent. So next time on the mission, we will head for the next planet on our list, which according to, well, my list is Bop. Now, I will have to check, but I think Bop is the one that has a little something special on it. Oh, and is also at a really awkward orbit. Just to add to that. So, I hope you've all enjoyed. I make games as well as playing them, so if you want to support the channel, as well as all the normal like, subscribe, comment stuff, any of that, it's all good. have a little look in the description. I made a couple of games. There's some links to them. You might like them. And yeah, until next time, bye-bye.